You're listening to the Armchair GM Sports Network.
This is Chip Gilchrist, voice of the Kingston Frontenacs. You're listening to OHL Overtime, an in-depth interview show highlighting the players, coaches, and broadcasters from around the Ontario Hockey League who make the league so great, as well as in-person coverage of events such as the OHL Playoffs, OHL Championship Series, OHL Combine, and more, exclusively on the Armchair GM Sports Network. Here's your program host, Brandon Caputo.
Welcome into another episode of OHL Overtime right here on the Armchair GM Sports Network and our game recap of Game 4 of the OHL Western Conference final between the London Knights and the Kitchener Rangers. London sweeping Kitchener in the 4 games and improved to 12-0 so far through the first 3 rounds of the 2025 OHL playoffs here at the Kitchener Memorial Auditorium in front of 7,496, at the Odd tonight. Thank you to everybody that's tuned in live late on our Armchair GM Sports Network YouTube channel, and those listening the next day in your favorite on-demand audio platform. Thank you for staying up late with us for the post-game with the trophy presentation as well as the press conferences after, and then getting this whole thing set up. So really appreciate those tuning in live tonight. And with that said, I'm pleased to welcome on my guest co-host for tonight, one half of the OHL in 60 podcast, as well as the Dogcast on the Bulldogs audio network. That would be the Colin Ward for his Ohio State Buckeyes. Colin, thanks so much for jumping on with us tonight. I know you got an early morning start for work tomorrow, so really appreciate your time as always.
Oh yeah, no problem. Always a pleasure. It definitely was a fun series. It was a short series, but a lot happened in the series, Brant. There's a lot to unfold.
Absolutely, and again, we had you on, I believe, early in the series, talking about what Kitchener's going to need to do to beat this London Knights team, and again, undefeated in the playoffs, still going into the OHL finals. This is their third straight time winning the Wayne Gretzky Trophy, the first team to do that since it became a trophy back in 1999, as Josh Wheatland said in the postgame as well, the first team since the 93 Sioux Greyhounds to go back-to-back, making the OHL Championship, winning the Western Conference. Colin, you grew up watching this London Knights team over the years with so many great teams, listening to Mike Stubbs on the radio with Jim Van Horn, the great guys on 980 CFPL. You know better than anybody, some of these great London Knights teams over the years, but even last year's team. But this seems like a team on a mission this year to raise that Memorial Cup that they didn't get last year.
Since it ended last year in Saginaw, Michigan, it felt like this team was destined to go to the Mem Cup final and finish the job. It felt like let's be honest, Brandon, this core has finished every single job. They've accomplished everything except for the Memorial Cup. And they've come one game, one moment away from accomplishing everything that there is to accomplish in this league that junior hockey has to offer at the CHL level. And this team feels like it's just hungry and it's destined to go to that. You see the win tonight, and you see them on the odd ice, and and obviously when you win the conference championship 3 years in a row, it is what it is. But you don't want to. You can tell there's more at stake, and I just think that this team, the core of the players they have in place, they've won everything, and they beat a damn good Kitchener team in just 4 games, Brandon. And like I said, I think I picked 5 games in the bracket. But this team just continues to show how good they are. And honestly, watching the game tonight without Denver Barkey, without Woolley, with the 1-game suspension, and you're watching the game and I'm thinking, this might be the first time since 2016, the Marner Dvorak to Chuck line was so dominant that I feel the way that the London Knights, they can dominate any given game they choose to do so. And it feels like for the first time since 2016, and they've had a bunch of teams, but it really feels like that to Chuck Dvorak Marner team where it's just meant to be. And whoever gets out of the Easton barrier, Oshawa, is no easy feat for the London Knights, but that was a real eye-opener for everyone across CHL hockey, because everyone in the OHL knows the team to beat. But now in the CHL, there is no doubt in my mind the team to beat in the CHL is the London Knights, and they've showcased that so far in the postseason.
Yeah, we'll see who comes out of the WHL and the QMJHL. No disrespect to them, but it just seems like a team of destiny, this London Knights team, even without their captain Denver Barkey in the lineup. It's going to be a real tough team to beat, as you mentioned there. And they just control the pace of play up until the last couple of minutes there of the third, when Kitchener was really trying to make things happen there. They scored one, but they still needed two more. And London, just the way that they play, the way that they're able to wear you down defensively, and when they get a lead, go into that third period, good luck. You might as well start the bus, because Dale Hunter's team is just so well coached to play defensive hockey in that sense. Colin, we're going to hear from the Kitchener Rangers side with UC Ahokas, as well as graduating goaltender Jackson Parsons. As well, we'll hear from the London Knights side with head coach Dale Hunter and Defenceman of the Year Sam Dickinson a little bit later on today. But we'll get forward with the game stats. Colin, 36-27 in favor of the Knights in the shots on net. They led for most of the game until Kitchener had that late flurry, as I mentioned. With the goalie pulled, needed three to tie. They only got one. But London controlled the pace of play, controlled the shots on net in this game. Yeah,
without a doubt. It felt like Kitchener had the dream start they wanted to get, Brandon, and then the London Knights found a way to respond, right? And they just pour it on. It comes in waves, and it feels like it's a wave that it comes and it comes and it comes, and all of a sudden it's 3-4-1 like we see tonight, right? And the Knights just put their foot on the gas, and I thought that was the most impressive part about the game. I thought Jackson Parsons played great in goal for the Kitchener Rangers, like he has all season. It's just tough. And like you mentioned, Brandon, it feels like the Knights control the possession. And I got this glimpse, and we got the glimpse of this in Game 2. In Game 2, where the London Knights were all over the Kitchener Rangers, and all of a sudden it kind of put their foot off the gas. Where ever since Game 2, where that happened, where they hit adversity, they really controlled the pace of the game, and it feels like they can click. They have that button to where, okay, we'll play when we have to play, but if we stick to our systems, stick to our defensive game plan and structure, we're going to be fine.
London 2 for 6 on the power play, Kitchener 1 for 3, but the ones that Kitchener did give up, Colin, were untimely, self-inflicted wounds. I go back to, we'll get into it in the scoring summary, but the 5-on-3 goal was completely unnecessary for Luke Ellenis to jump Casper Halton in that scenario. I know the emotions are high. I know when Halton in real time looks like he leaves his feet. But again, when you're already down a man and you're Luke Ellenis, who's one of the top players on the Rangers, and you're trying to hold a 1-1 game, you can't just jump a guy and give the Knights a 5-on-3, which Dickinson scored on. And then later in the game, it was Halton in getting slashed behind the play that led to a power play, and then he ends up getting the power play goal. So again, the Rangers just have to keep their emotions in check, because those two goals were big and really ones that they could have avoided.
Oh, 100%. And that's what elimination games are, right? Elimination game, there's a lot of emotion. And, your backs are up against the wall. And I think Ellenis in that play, as a player, you're thinking, it's a questionable play. It's a do-or-die game. I want to do whatever it takes for my team. I want to send a message. And that's probably what Ellenis is thinking in that situation. But, yeah, I agree with you. I didn't think it was maybe in real time, but on the screen, it didn't look like it was a terrible hit. It doesn't look like it'd be a review or any thought of being a penalty, in my opinion on it. But I can see where Ellenis is coming from to give him the benefit of the doubt on that play. But it's tough, right? A 5-on-3 for the London Knights, one of the best power plays in the CHL. And when you're rolling what they're rolling out there, Dickinson, Halton, and Cowboy, and Cowan, they got so many guys there. Then you can't give them bounces. If you give them opportunity to have a moment in a game, that those little sways of momentum, and when you give a free shot of momentum, that can bite you in the long run in a game, in a contest, in a game against a team for the Rangers' sake, that you have to play an almost perfect textbook game against the London Knights to be successful in the win column. And that's one of those plays that doesn't add up at the end of the night.
And I know Haltonen's been a magnet in this series ever since 40 seconds in when he gets Christian Humphreys up high, who doesn't come back the entire series. So a couple plays, both Haltonen was able to get the Rangers off their game on those two plays because obviously he's the guy that they're going after.
Oh, 100%, Brandon. And he's a tough – and make no mistake, Casper Haltonen is a big, tough forward. He's a big guy. When you look at Casper Haltonen coming off the bus, it's like, what basketball team is he on? Big guy, big body, broad shoulders. When you look at him, it's like, I know he's a sniper, but man, if he maybe clean up the skating a little bit, he's got big, powerful strides. If he could play in the interior area around the net, he's going to be a really good professional hockey player in the San Jose Sharks system next season, or possibly with the Sharks with his goal scoring abilities and his size. But man, like the power forward and the ability to get under your skin has really stood out this year in the postseason from Casper Haltonen, and especially in this series alone.
Yeah, he has, and a guy that could have been playing in pro hockey this year when he was sent back from the San Jose Barracuda, just adding another piece to this London Knights team. And we should mention Jacob Julian's done a really nice job in the absence of Denver Barkey on that top power play. He's really elevated his game the last three games. I believe he's got 7 points in the 3 games since Barkey's been gone. So really strong effort from Jacob Julian, the Winnipeg Jets prospect. I know we can't spend too much time on it, but he's been really good stepping up in that role with Barkey out.
Oh, absolutely, he has. Jacob Julian's an underrated player. He's kind of that Swiss Army knife. He's such a valuable part of this London Knight core, where he's the guy that can be your second-line center, or if you need him to step up and be your first line, he can do it. You can play any role. He can be your third-line center. You can be your second or your first line. That's huge to have a first-line center as your third-line center in certain situations if you're Dale Hunter and staff.
Well said, and couldn't have said it any better. As far as the face-offs, 37-35 in favor of the Knights. Their best men on the dot tonight. Sam O'Reilly, 19 of 32, was their best, and then Jacob Julian, 11 of 20. Will Nickel, 4 of 10, and then on the Rangers side, Luca Romano, 13 of 27. Cam Mercer, 12 of 17, and Luke Ellenis, 7 of 20. Anything catch your eye on the face-off dot tonight, Colin? I know London really does a nice job of winning those initial face-offs on the penalty kill, and that's why they're so successful in that sense.
Well said, Brandon. I'm glad you mentioned the penalty kill, because the penalty kill situation, right, and we talked about this earlier a few episodes back, Brandon, with the face-offs. On the penalty kill, if you can win a face-off in your own end on the other team's power play, it's a guaranteed you're going to kill 10 seconds. You get it clear, it's a guarantee. It's kill it down to a minute 30 left. So instead of a 2-minute power play, you kill it's a minute 30 power play. Nowadays, with the drop-off, that ugly pass, the ugly drop-off pass, it stalls you even more. So you're working on a minute-and-a-half kill. I'm no analytics major, but in reality of hockey and winning games, I love that ability to win face-offs. I think that's the most underrated ability on the penalty kill. I think that's how a penalty kill, I think your percentages, I would love to see the analytics on this, of the penalty kill when you win the face-off to start the penalty compared to when you lose it, because it's an extra 2-3 chances at times that you eliminate just by winning the face-offs. And I'm glad you mentioned that, Brandon.
While you're talking here, Colin, I wish you could see it. Jackson Parsons and Trent Swick are now on the ice in their street clothes with some family and friends taking their last pictures on the Kitchener Memorial Auditorium ice. So a really cool moment going on right now post-game. But we'll get forward with the scoring summary. You mentioned Kitchener gets on the board first, 2 minutes and 16 seconds in. A dream start on the power play for them to be able to get the first goal in this game. They haven't scored more than 2 goals in any of the games in the series. Ryan Payette from the London Free Press pointed that out to me, but Kitchener gets on the board early, and again, that's what they needed to at least have a chance in this game against London.
No, absolutely, they did. They had to score, and it, like I mentioned this to you earlier on this afternoon, Brandon. We were chatting about the game. If you're Kitchener to be successful in any game in the series, any given game in the series, you had to give up 3 or less goals to win, and even that might not be good enough, as we've saw in the series. And if you're the Rangers, you got to find a way to score 3 goals then. And it's so hard to do, but that's how you have to do it. when you're playing a team that dominates the puck like London does, when you get your opportunities, you got to cash in on them. And it's a hard, and honestly, you might only get 3 grade A opportunities. And you flash back to game 3 when you see the breakaway and the puck's on the line, right? And you don't get the goal. And next thing you know, the Knights come back down and score. Those are the bounces you need to get to be successful against the London Knights. And when, unfortunately for the Rangers, when you don't get those bounces and you have a good start and you have a goal late, but just too little too late, type situation for the Rangers. But if you get those bounces, when you get those 3 to 4 bounces a game that you're going to get against the London Knights, you got to cash in on. And if those bounces don't come your way, sometimes it's just not meant to be.
Really nice tic-tac-toe play there from Luca Romano, Jack Pridham, and then finished off by Luke Ellenis beside the net there. So, again, the Rangers' big guns needed to step up in the series, especially with Christian Humphreys out of the lineup. They get the goal there to go take the lead. But then less than a minute later, actually 58 seconds later, Noah Reed's able to kind of just shovel a puck in on a Will Nichols shot. It was just kind of sitting there in the crease, and Jackson Parsons wasn't able to find it. And Noah Reed, the St. Catharines native, former Junior B player, another one that London's found and developed really nicely here, gets the game tied at 1, and another quick response for London anytime Kitchener would kind of try to have a piece in the series.
Oh, 100%, Brandon. The teams that can respond when they start to hit adversity are the teams that are successful at this time of the season. And the London Knights have responded every single time so far in the postseason. Even going back to last round, Brandon, against Erie, where you see where you see them down, you see overtime in the elimination game in game 4 where they score a goal, it's disallowed, and it felt like business as usual. Next couple shifts go by, they end up getting the game-winning eventual goal. That's kind of what you get, right, with the London Knights, and you know what you're going to get with them. It's a business, and I love their approach right now, but I think they're in such a good spot CHL-wide. Not to get too far off topic, but I was watching a little bit of the Q games. Moncton's a wagon out there in the Q, and I was thinking, if you could get Medicine Hat with Gavin McKenna and this London Knight team, the Memorial Cup, obviously not to get too far ahead, we're in the best final of any league in the Ontario Hockey League that's about to come up next week. But you think about that, how lucky we would be as consumers of the Ontario Hockey League, CHL wide, to see the best on the best at the biggest level of our league is incredible for the game. So I was just thinking about that randomly. Like, you see London, the way they're ticking. Some of these teams, like Moncton, looks really good. If you get Medicine Hat there with McKenna, man, this could be a fun early summer.
Yeah, get your popcorn ready. It's going to be exciting finish here, going through the championship series and then the Memorial Cup for all 3 of these different leagues here. Getting back to this game, though, Colin, so Noah Reed gets them on the board, tying the game, and then it was Sam Dickinson, as I mentioned. That was where London had gotten a power play. They actually were a little bit lackadaisical in their own end with Dickinson and Cowan getting mixed up there, and it leads to getting Elliott had to come up with a big save on a breakaway after they kind of were trying to move the puck around as they exit the zone on the power play. But luckily, he made the save on that one. And then right after, the Haltonen hit that results in Ellenis taking a roughing penalty, just going after him immediately. And then it's that play to Sam Dickinson on the one-timer from Easton Cowan and Jacob Julian, and all of a sudden it's 2-1 London, and here we go again.
Yeah, no, absolutely. That's tough, right? When you're Kitchener, you think you get them killed. They come down on the breakout. The Dickinson Haltonen goal. I mean, the puck wasn't on their sticks very long on those releases, eh? Like,
never.
The Dickinson shot from the flank was a bomb, and then Haltonen with a little snapper. Like, those releases, like, there's not much Parsons can do about that one.
Yeah, the Haltonen goal was in the second period. That was midway through, so it was 2-1 London after the first. And then in the second period, I mentioned that the Haltonen play. So he was, a magnet in more ways than one in this series. One of London's most valuable players. And then again, it was that slash by Mercer behind the play that sent London to the power play. And then Haltonen was able to pick up the rebound to make it 3-1 on the bonk shot in his little bumper spot there on the power play. And we talk about it ad nauseum about London's power play setup and how lethal they are. But both these power play goals for the Knights the tire and then the eventual game winner by Halton, and it's just really tough because the Rangers did play a pretty good game, but then shot themselves in the foot twice, and it cost them both times.
Absolutely. I thought they played a solid game. I thought they did everything that they had to do to be successful. It just didn't happen on the score sheet. I agree with you. You get good goaltending, right? And you get a couple chances. You get the first goal of the game. You like your chances. I thought Ahokas did all the right things throughout the series. I thought they made good adjustments. There's not much to complain about. I thought it was pretty cool to Brandon and warm up to see Misljevic take warm ups like that. That was pretty cool to see that from the Rangers standpoint. Now being their last game of the season tonight.
Yeah, if only he would have been able to make a difference in this series again, as you mentioned, taking warm ups, but. Obviously, still not 100%, but you do anything come playoff time. If you can get out there, even for warm up, to try to do it, you will. Especially when it ends your season. So yeah, shout out to Adrian Misljevic, who was not in this series. We get on later in the second period, right before the end of the second. Jackson Parsons makes a big 2-on-0 save. It was kind of just a broken play, but he was able to make the save there on nickel with Van Bommel and Cam Allen as well trailing. So it was almost like a 3-on-0. So Parsons keeps the minute, but then with 8:02 left in the third period, a 3-1 game at that point, Sam Dickinson, like he did for most of this series, jumped in on the offense, came down the left wing, and was able to find Jesse Nurmi out front in the slot, who was able to shovel that one past Parsons to make it 4-1, and that one felt like the dagger with just 12 minutes left.
Oh, absolutely, and that's a tough one, right? You're down 3, not a lot of time left, as you mentioned. That's tough. It's, hey boys, we gotta get to work here now on the bench on the Rangers side. Got to get one quick. You never know. You want to keep believing. You want to create belief. Get one quick. It's just tough, right? That was a tough one for sure.
And then late in the third period was when Kitchener had, their best flurry, their best offensive zone time of the whole game, up by 3 goals. Both teams had called their timeouts. At this point, Jack Pridham was able to get the goal from Cameron Reed, and Luke Ellenis with the assist on that. Throws one out front. It hits a London player, redirects, they get a bounce, and you're thinking, okay, there's 2:28 left. We've seen crazier things in junior hockey, even though this is the London Knights, but they gave this great crowd at the odd one more chance to chant "Let's Go Rangers" and do the whole goal song celebration. Yeah. Just an amazing atmosphere, Colin, for a London Kitchener, Western Conference final, elevated at the highest stage. Such a great atmosphere between these two teams.
Oh, absolutely, and it always is. I remember growing up as a kid, every single time growing up a Knights fan, my family having season tickets to the Knights, and growing up, seeing the first thing you look at when the schedule comes out, Brandon, is when do the London Knights play the Kitchener Rangers? Right. It's probably a road game. Fortunate enough to get to go to experience the Odd, because the Odd is one of the best venues in the CHL, and I'll stand by that for as long as I'm around, Brandon. Anyone that is able to. Or hasn't been able to, I guess, to get to the Odd to watch a junior hockey game next season, put that on your bucket list. It's a must-do. Kitchener Auditorium, it doesn't matter if you go to a game on a Tuesday night in October or a Wednesday night on April 30th in an elimination game. It's always the same. It's always an incredible atmosphere. The fans are dialed in. The staff there in the arena is great. The organization in Kitchener is a first-class organization. So is London, but Kitchener's a first-class organization. They treat you well. Great people over there. Really good people over there. I know it's always cool. I know even when the Bulldogs, being with the Bulldogs, it's always cool to go to Kitchener, and always great to talk to guys like Mike Farwell and even Josh Brown. Love having conversations with those guys as well. Whenever you're in Kitchener.
Oh yeah, Josh Brown's writing the rest of his story right now for the Record. Great pro, and it's been great to be around guys like him and Mike Farwell, Ryan Payette. The list goes on. It's been some great people to learn from in this series for sure. We finish off there, Colin. London tries to go for the empty netter. They're not able to get it. Sam Dickinson tried to go bar down, I think, and missed the net completely. But they hold on for the 4-2 win, and Austin Elliott again, continues an incredible undefeated streak dating back to the regular season, over 24 games now, and still only lost one game in the entire season. It's pretty incredible to think of for a guy that was placed on waivers by the WHL, out there, and not able to really find a home there. He gets put on waivers, gets claimed by Barrie, then Barrie trades his rights to London, and just an incredible season, only one loss, and 12-0 in the playoffs. London's just firing on all cylinders right now.
Oh, absolutely. Elliott looks really good. He's so poised. Not a lot of extra movement. He's always square to the shooter. He's never off his angles, which really stands out to me when watching Austin Elliott.
And so 4-2 is the final here tonight in Game 4. London wins the Wayne Gretzky Trophy for the third consecutive season, and they will await to see if they're facing the Oshawa Generals, who are up 3-0 in their series against the Barrie Colts next week. So we're going to take a quick commercial break. We're going to come back. We're going to hear from both head coaches as well as a player from each team as this series comes to an end, as well as Colin's player of the game. So stay right here. Be right back on OHL Overtime right here on the Armchair GM Sports Network. And we'll be right back after this. The great guys over at Hockey Stick Man are sponsoring this video. If you play hockey but are sick of paying upwards of $400 for top-end sticks, check these guys out. There's seriously no better place to shop. The guys are fun, easy, and offer a stress-free experience from start to finish. They get pro stock sticks from major junior teams right up to the NHL teams and sell them for half the price that the same stick would sell for at a retail store. To further support their mission of saving hockey families money, they offer closeout options, which entail taking last year's retail models and blowing them out for less than wholesale prices. It's literally the best prices on the internet for their sticks. And the best sticks of all may be their Pro Blackout series, which provide a top-end stick with no graphics and literally less than half the price of a branded top-end retail model. It's always been their best-selling stick despite super cool pro stock options. It's a no-brainer to shop with these guys, and trust me, they are beauties. Head over to hockeystickman.ca/thearmchairgm and get $15 off your first order. That's hockeystickman.ca/thearmchairgm to get an additional $15 off your first order when you sign up on their website. Check out our friends at Hockey Stick Man. Fourth Wall is the official merchandise supplier of the Armchair GM Sports Network. Our user-friendly site is print to order with no minimum items or inventory needed, shipped right to your doorstep safely and efficiently from their North American warehouse. All of our logos are available to supporters, listeners, and viewers can have the best variety available to them for their swag preferences. All items are priced as low as possible, allowing everybody who wants to support our business with the opportunity to do so, receiving quality and comfortable products in return. Shop today at fourthwall.com with the direct link to our Armchair merch store in the description of all episodes and in the bio of all of our social media accounts. Become an Armchair GM today with Fourth Wall.
You're listening to the Armchair GM Sports Network, the Niagara region's best local source for North American sports podcasting coverage. By sports fans, for sports fans.
Welcome back to part 2 of tonight's OHL Overtime game recap of Game 4, the Western Conference Finals between the London Knights and the Kitchener Rangers, with the London Knights sweeping the Rangers 4-0 here in this series, 12-0 in the playoffs, and advancing to the OHL Championship Series, awaiting the winner of Barrie versus Oshawa. Brandon Caputo and Colin Ward from the OHL and 60 podcast are back with you, continuing to react and break down this Game 4 here at the Kitchener Memorial Auditorium. Thank you to everybody that's tuned in live on our Armchair GM Sports Network YouTube channel, and those listening the next day on your favorite on-demand audio platform. Make sure to give us a follow on X at Armchair GM Pod, as well as on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok for all of our short reels and great content, including some great reels that we've been posting from the OHL and 60 podcast for some of Colin Ward and Reese Dumaney's great discussions that they have on that show. Colin, before we get going with post-game thoughts from both ends, and again, there's a lot of post-game thoughts from the Kitchener Rangers side, so we want to get through this quite quickly here. I know you've got something to say about the broadcast, cutting in and out, and again, it's unfortunate because West Final, this is, before TSN takes over in the finals for the most part. I know you've got some opinions on that. We'll probably save a lot of it for the OHL and 60, but quickly get it off your mind.
Yeah, I'll just say sometimes you get the puck on an empty net and you lose an edge and the other team comes down and scores. I'll just say that. Dallas, Edmonton. That was the broadcast tonight, in my opinion. Well, not the broadcast, the production. I did. It was tough when the post-game interview. It was hard to hear, so I cannot wait to hear it in a few minutes. I'll just say that. And Brandon, you have me looking like an influencer on the reels. I love it. Appreciate it. Might get into the influence game if you keep this up.
Hey, great stuff, and always wanting to produce more great content and showcase what you guys are talking about over there. And what we're going to be doing in the OHL Finals, a little teaser. We've got some stuff coming on for some great post game stuff for the finals that we'll try to debut at some point with yourself, Reese Domini, Joel Vanderlaan. Everybody's been pitching in with the great stuff during this playoff run, and can't thank you enough for that. No,
hey, thank you. I mean, hey. The grind starts at the top. I just got to follow. You set the tone. We need a hard two-way center to score goals, right? And you're the guy. So appreciate it. And like I say, whatever you need, I'm down. Takes a whole line to do it. But with that said, let's get to the London Knights side first with head coach Dale Hunter, as well as Defenseman of the Year and San Jose Sharks first-round pick Sam Dickinson on advancing to their third straight OHL Championship. Here's what they had to say.
Good evening, welcome to your post-game coverage of Game 4 of the Western Conference Championship Series. London Knights 4-2 winners, becoming the first team in OHL history to win 3 straight Wayne Gretzky trophies. The trophy was first introduced in 1999 with the conference format. They also become the first OHL team since 1993 Sioux Greyhounds to make 3 straight trips to the OHL Championship Series. Joined by head coach Dale Hunter along with defenseman Sam Dickinson. Coach, have to imagine you're proud of your team tonight. Kitchener gave you another good fight, but you guys came out on top.
Yeah, we did. They did. They played hard, and proud of our team. They had the battle back, and we had a couple guys out, so put more minutes on Dickey and Bonky, and but they absorbed it really well.
Sam, goal and assist for yourself tonight. The coach said some big minutes for you, but third time you've been through this, 3 Wayne Gretzky trophies, and I'm sure you're very proud of it.
Yeah, absolutely. I think. I think when you think of the core of the team this year, we've been together for basically, the 3 years that we've gone on this sort of run here. So it's pretty special to be a part of, and yeah, just super proud of the whole group we've got this year.
We'll take questions, guys. Sean,
Coach, 12-0 in the playoffs and 4-0 against the 100-point team. How are the Knights doing and making it look easy?
Well, the players are really playing well defensively and creating a lot offensively. So they did a good job by playing very well to complete hockey games, and we're hard to get beat by if we do that. And we got guys that make sure everybody plays the right way.
Dale, Sam, congratulations.
Oh, thank you.
What was the difference? Now that the season's over, you're looking at 4 games. What do you think the main difference was between you and the Rangers series?
This series here, what the main difference was? Some know it's like, again, our guys came, their guys, big guys scored, but I thought as far as we can play, we played good D, and we tried to shut them down as much as we can, and that's a credit to these guys because it's no fun playing defense. All you do is you want to score. So, but they buy into the team game right here, and we've been through it before. So the Rangers, they're young and they haven't been through it as much, so you got more experience.
Sam, Dale just called that defensive style not fun. How does he get a bunch of teenagers year after year to buy into that system?
I think the main thing is he's won everything in this league, and done it for 25 years now. Every kid coming into this league wants to win, and if defending is what you got to do here, it's something that we've all become used to, and at this point we understand defense wins championships, and we've learned that now.
Does it ever get old doing this?
No, it's always fun. It's always always a battle though. Like the end of the game, the goalie's pulled, guys are diving, blocking. That's what makes it fun to coach and play hockey. It's like the rival.
Coach, can you just talk about you exchanged pleasantries with UC Ahokas? Can you explain to us anything that you said to him in the handshake line there?
No, I said to him, the team, they're well coached, and they played a good system, and they had some young defensemen back there on D, and and young forwards in, so they'll be better for the future.
One for Sam, obviously down Denver Barkey, Van Gore, Woolley tonight, everybody else stepping up and contributing. When you have a couple guys out of the lineup and you have so much depth, you're able to buy in and play what you need to do to win. Just what does that speak about your team's collective and being able to get through something like that?
Yeah, I think it's just the buy-in from the whole group. Through the whole year, we've kind of gone through, guys being in and out of the lineup with, injuries, guys being away with, whatever it was. So, not something that we're super uncomfortable with. We've gotten used to it through the whole year with guys being out. So it's, a credit to a lot of the guys out here who kind of step up when we need them.
There were Sam Dickinson and head coach Dale Hunter from the London Knights. Post-game, Colin, Jared Woolley suspended for 1 game, so again the decor had to be tested once again. Sam Dickinson felt like he never came off the ice. Oliver Bonk's taken a step in his defensive game this season, but the collective buy-in, as they talk about, was something that made the Knights so successful. And you've seen so many Dale Hunter teams over the past. It's it's just the way that he is able to get those guys to play a winning system and know that it works.
Yeah, it starts from the top, as you mentioned. Dale Hunter and staff, they do a great job. Dylan Hunter and Rick Stebbin, those guys are really hands-on assistant coaches as well. To Dale Hunter, they really complement each other well. Veteran leadership. Hearing Sam Dickinson talk, it's hard to believe he has another year of eligibility left. He sounds like an overager. It starts from the top, but the players accept it. And it goes to the draft with Mark Hunter, where in their scouting staff, Rob Simpson, etc. Those guys do a heck of a job at scouting. Character. Get guys that accept the London Knight way, how you want to play the game, and this is how we play the game here. If you accept it, you're going to be a very successful player for us. If you don't, you will not be a successful player for us. There's a bottom line to it, and I think that's what they do. Sam Dickinson was incredible tonight, Brandon. He really was, and they're not afraid to ride their horses. Like we saw that today. Jacob Julian getting a lot of big face-offs late in the game. Sam Dickinson, obviously, Easton Cowan, and the list goes on. But they really ride their horses, and that's fine because they have the depth to back it up as well. And I think that they really complement each other so well. The players accepting the coaches, and the coaches are patient as well with the players that they bring in.
Yep, defense isn't fun, but it wins championships, and that's what Dale's been able 100%. To do with teenagers that love to score goals and some top-end players, some top-end NHL prospects, doing what they need to do to win games. And Sam Dickinson was obviously one of those main contributors, as you mentioned, in all 200 feet of this series. I would say he was the best player in the entire series through the 4 games. Just logged so many minutes for them on the back end, but luckily they had 2 sweeps. So they didn't play as many games. So let's get to the Kitchener Rangers side with head coach Jussi Ahokas, as well as overage goaltender Jackson Parsons, goaltender of the year, overage player of the year, and his final thoughts as he leaves the Kitchener Memorial Auditorium ice for the final time.
After the postgame coverage of Game 4 of the Western Conference Championship Series, the London Knights 4-2 winners tonight, rounding out the series to win Gretzky Trophy champions, joined by Kitchener Rangers head coach Jussi Ahokas and veteran goaltender Jackson Parsons. Coach, we'll start with you. Tough to find the positives right now, but 100 points this season and a hard-fought playoff. Maybe you can just share your immediate thoughts right now.
Well, London was good. They're a great team. 10 NHL signed players, 14 drafted players. I thought at home we played better. Today wasn't our day. They scored in the power play, and we took a little bit penalties, but it is what it is. 4-0, you lose. They're the better team, and we have to learn. Then if I look at the long run, from last year to this year, we evolved. We're a young team. When you think about, we had 8, 16 to 17-year-old players in our lineup in this conference finals. We have quite a young core coming up, getting that 100 points. All in all, I look at this team. It was a big team. Like it worked hard for each other, and that's, I think, the big thing for our success. I think not maybe the skilled team. Well, we had Parsons. He was our star, and but yeah, the team worked for each other, and have to be proud of the boys. We had compared to last year, a big big jump forward. Last year we dropped second round, now we went to third round. And then again, we'll keep building our team, and I see a bright future ahead for our hockey club. But of course today it hurts to lose it for. Should at least took 1 or 2 at home, but we're just gonna do it right now.
Jackson, probably a lot to take in for you right now. Been through a lot of games in this building. I mean, a couple years ago you only got to play 5 games, and look how you're winning and rebounding that. And of course, big night as a team. Maybe you can just walk us through how you're feeling.
Yeah, obviously the feeling sucks right now, but like Jussi said, like there's so much positive to look back from as a team, or to bounce back from that first weekend when frankly we got whooped, and to go and get 100 points, like that's insane. That's the 4th time in franchise history. So as much as it hurts right now, and the game sucked, I'm just really proud of the guys.
One question for each of you. We'll start with you, Jackson. There's a lot of positives this season, obviously. Maybe they're hard to really tap into right now. But when you think back, what's going to jump to the forefront for you, and what was the most positive of this season?
I think the 100 points. Like that was a really cool thing to accomplish, and obviously with a few games to go, we knew that it was possible. But we had to go on like a 7-2 run or something in the last 9 games, and to be able to accomplish that is something that I'll never forget.
Coach, you and I spoke near the end of the season, and I asked you what would make the season a success, and your answer was the Western Conference Final. When you look back on this season as a whole, this is a success for you and the Rangers?
Well, yeah, if somebody would have told me start of the season that we get 100 points and we're in the Western Conference Finals, I would shook hands and yeah, let's do that. So I would have been, yeah. So yeah, can be happy about it. Of course, losing the conference final, and of course you want to go move forward. We knew London this was their year. They had the start. They didn't really lose any top guys from last year, and they kept building. We knew that they had a really, really, really good team, I have to say. And what I've seen so far, like not many times junior teams that good. And yeah, but we had, for me, it was a good season for sure. Can be proud of that, but still we need to be better because I came here, and our whole coaching staff, we want to win over here, and we want to make Kitchener great again.
There's a new T-shirt.
Donald Trump, I like it.
Nah.
You mentioned the youth of this team. What do you think you guys learned as a unit, and what can you take from this run, this season, this playoff, in the next season to help this team make that next step that you talked about?
Well, first of all, just getting the experience, 16 playoff games, coming back from 3-0 to go for and come here to conference finals. I thought some of our 17-year-olds, Romano, Lammer, they took huge steps towards their game, and really proud of them. But more just to getting the experience and what it means to win these games and what you have to do. And still, London was a little bit more experienced. You could see in some situations for sure, they played a little bit smarter. So we have to learn, and I think we can learn from this. Every little situation matters. Can't take stupid penalties because they can catch you, all the small things, and you have to be ready. And then again, we learned it's just one game at a time, and you can't quit. We didn't quit against Windsor, and I don't think we didn't quit against London either, even though it was 4-0. But we still, even though 4-1, we took the goalie out, we came 4-2 and kept pushing, but just wasn't enough. But for me, the biggest thing is how much experience our players. We have a lot of guys will be coming back next year. We won't be losing. Too bad we won't get Parsons back, but the overagers and not many more. If somebody makes NHL or farm team, then that's a different thing. But I would say we will probably lose maybe four guys, or not even that. So we'll see how it goes.
Jackson, what was the final moments like for you out there? Did that last lap with Trent Swick? What was going through your mind and your emotions there as you left the Kitchener Memorial Auditorium ice for the last time?
No, obviously, in one way it sucks, but in one way it's, the best ending possible, to be able to finish at home and to be able to say thank you to the fans one last time. They've been so good to me, and I'm so proud to be a Ranger, and obviously to be able to do it with Trent as well. We were billet brothers our first year, so I'm so close with him, and he's a brother for life for me, and obviously he's going to do great things in Vegas. So no, I'm just so proud of him, and yeah, we want to do one last lap together. So.
Last for Coach, I know Jackson was a big part of your success this year, but turning away 50 goal scorer going into the season, you didn't know really what this team would be. How did you get them to buy in? You mentioned such a young group coming back, but how did you get them to buy into what you needed to do to play and to get to this moment, from day one at training camp?
I think we started building culture from the day one when I came here, and just what is our Kitchener way, how we play, and I think that all the guys who were here last year, they knew already, so they kind of grew and grew, and for sure we defended well, and we had, of course, great goaltending, but I think the biggest thing is the culture and how we do things here, how we practice, how we play our style of play. We don't give up. We have grit. We play hard. We defend well, and now we have to still have a little bit better offense, but that's, again, piece by piece. We want to keep moving forward.
Jackson, you got the jersey on still, but when you take that off, that'll be the last time. What does it mean to you to be a Kitchener Ranger? Oh,
it's unbelievable. It means the world. I mean, to be able to say that I was a Kitchener Ranger for my entire OHL career, I wouldn't change it for the world. From the staff to the players to the higher up management, everyone is just so kind, so nice, so welcoming. And for any other Ranger draft pick or, some of the younger guys, they've got so much to look forward to being in this organization and being a big part of it. It means the world.
Well said, and great way to end the Kitchener Rangers' final post-game of the season, Colin, from UC Ahokas, and goaltender of the year, overage player of the year, graduating goaltender, team MVP Jackson Parsons. Those last few questions there, you could definitely hear the emotion in his voice about how much pride he took and didn't want to take that jersey off. He came to the press conference in full gear as a goaltender. Not easy thing to do, but I want to get your reaction to what he had to say.
Yeah, that's a tough one. It definitely doesn't kick in yet, probably for Jackson, other than last time on the ice and that stuff. You think about it, but tomorrow definitely will probably hurt as a couple days go by. Locker room clean out day, that obviously sucks. That's gonna hurt, but what a career Jackson Parsons had in the OHL. I'm so fascinated to see where he goes from now in the pro side of hockey, because he's deserved it throughout his whole career, the ups and downs he's had in the Ontario Hockey League. And hearing that interview, what he's brought into Kitchener, what Kitchener's brought to him, what a relationship. And that's the beauty of our league. When you get to go to communities at 16 years old, 17 years old, for that matter, the impact they have on your life is second to none. It's crazy, the community support around the CHL in general, and you see that firsthand in Kitchener with Jackson Parsons, and you see that with Jackson returning the favor as well with the city of Kitchener.
I liked UC Ahokas. I don't know if he meant to have a nice soundbite and a nice line for a shirt for next year, but make Kitchener great again definitely was an interesting one. And again, he mentions that young core that they've built, and I asked him about that buy-in, about they trade away Carson Rakoff in the offseason for draft picks, and you're thinking, okay, this is going to be a rebuild year for a really young Kitchener Rangers team, almost familiar of where the London Knights were 3 years ago when they maybe made the OHL finals a little bit early when they lost to Peterborough. But a great season for the Kitchener Rangers, and their window's definitely open for the next 2 years, but a great job by UC Ahokas coming in and really building the culture here with the Kitchener Rangers. And I think it's only the beginning for them. I know you've said that they're going to be at least in the Western Conference Final next season again on the OHL in 60 podcast. I'm sure you still think those words are the same.
100%. I think sky's the limit for them. I really like the direction that club's heading into for next season. I really do.
yeah, nope, Jackson Parsons, but I'm sure they'll figure something out in the net, and most of their players are coming back. So really interesting for the Kitchener Rangers. While we were listening to that, shout out to London Knights' great radio voice that we love listening to, Colin, Mike Stubbs, tweeted out, the London Knights have played 726 minutes and 49 seconds of hockey in the 2025 OHL playoffs. They have been behind in games for only 30 minutes and 51 seconds through 12 games. They trailed Owen Sound for 15 minutes, Erie for just under 14, and they only trailed the Kitchener Rangers for 56 seconds in this entire series. Again, goes to show just how good this this London Knights team has been through the first 12 games of their playoffs.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, they're a wagon. They're humming. They're feeling good, and it's amazing that they can do that well. It almost doesn't feel real, Brandon, and that's how good they've been.
So before we get out of here, we're going to put Colin on the spot, as always, with our stick tap of the game, brought to you by Hockey Stick Man, Pro Stock Hockey Sticks for major junior teams right up to the NHL teams. For after retail price, a stress-free shopping experience from start to finish. Join our mission at hockeystickman.ca to save hockey families money. Colin, who is your player of the game for Game 4 of the West Final tonight?
My player of the game is Sam Dickinson of the London Knights. I thought Dickinson played a really good game. As you mentioned, he never came off the ice. He did everything he had to do tonight as a defenseman in his role for his team to be successful. It was an unselfish game from him, and I think Sam Dickinson, by far, best player in this game.
The in-house stars went to Jackson Parsons, Trent Swick, and Jakub Kromiak as the overage players. And, again, can't really get too mad about that. I'm pretty sure every team does that, even the ones that don't make the playoffs. But, again, if you were to pick 3 stars, Dickinson would definitely be up there, as well as Jacob Julian and possibly, Oliver Bonk as another one, or Casper Haltonen with the effects that they had on this game. So, Colin, as we wrap things up here, still going to have to await to see if it's going to be the Oshawa Generals, who are up 3-0 on the Barrie Colts, or if Barrie can pull what Kitchener did in the last series against Windsor and come back and win 4 straight. But regardless, the London Knights will get more time off once again, getting through Owen Sound in 4 games, getting through the Erie Otters in 4 games, and now getting through their rival Kitchener Rangers in 4 games. As we look ahead to the OHL Championship next week, just quick initial thoughts here as we await to see what London's going to play. And again, still undefeated. I don't know if they're going to be able to go 16-0, but if they did, that'd be quite the story.
Yeah, They're banged up a little bit. They're nicked up. London, like every team, and they haven't played a lot of games, but they're nicked up. Their captain's out, and he's probably going to miss a little bit of time. But it's the way that's playoff hockey. It takes a lot to win. I mean, you gotta rest the body, stay healthy, stay in the zone, stay locked in. Sometimes when you have that much time off, it's tough. But they've been on this routine for the whole postseason so far. So who am I to say that with their routine being thrown off, getting time off when they've had this amount of time off all postseason? I just think you just got to keep doing what you're doing and stay in your routine, and you'll be fine. We'll see what happens, though, who they play. I mean, if Barrie could get some clutch saves, I mean, the series could be a lot different, Barrie and Oshawa. But Oshawa certainly looks really good so far. But you never know. Barrie could do a North Bay and win a couple games and force a Game 7. Like the Battalion did last year in the conference final against Oshawa.
Yeah, thank goodness this game didn't go to double overtime like that one did last night in the thriller of Game 3. I think we both would have been saying, let's wait till tomorrow for this. But that's it. Colin Ward from the OHL in 60 podcast. Colin, thanks so much for taking the time. We got an early morning again for work, but I know you always love coming on, chatting about especially the London Knights, but OHL hockey in general. There's nobody else I enjoy talking OHL hockey with more than you, my friend.
Thank you. Appreciate the time, Brandon. Another fun one.
Absolutely. So we'll hear more from Colin as we go forward into the OHL playoffs, but that's going to wrap it up for our OHL overtime game recap of Game 4 of the OHL Western Conference Final between the London Knights and the Kitchener Rangers. London wins this one by a 4-2 score and sweep the series and our Wayne Gretzky Trophy recipients for a 3rd straight year, and they will await to see if they're facing the Barrie Colts, the Oshawa Generals in the OHL Final in front of a crowd at the Kitchener Memorial Auditorium of 7,496. Thank you to everybody that tuned in live on our Armchair GM Sports Network YouTube channel and those who listened on the next day on your favorite on-demand audio platform. So for Colin Ward, my name is Brandon Caputo. Have yourself a great night, and we'll talk to you again next week for the OHL Championship.